Hiram Powers' Greek Slave by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, 1806 to 1861. They say ideal beauty cannot enter the house of anguish. On the threshold stands an alien image with enshackled hands called the Greek slave, as if the artist meant her, that passionless perfection which he lent her, shadowed, not darkened where the sill expands. To so confront man's crimes in different lands with man's ideal sense, pierce to the centre art's fiery finger and break up ere long the serfdom of this world. Appeal, fair stone, from God's pure heights of beauty against man's wrong. Catch up in thy divine face not alone east griefs but west, and strike and shame the strong by thunders of white silence overthrown. Okay, this is a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. She was born and brought up in County Durham. She was she wasn't very healthy as a child, and she started writing poetry very early. She didn't go to school, although she was educated at home. She came from a wealthy family who had slave plantations in Jamaica and in the Americas, and had them for 200 years. Now, notice in that Elizabeth Browning is an abolitionist. She's for the abolition of slavery, and this poem is about the abolition of slavery. Let's see, she had a correspondence with Robert Browning and fell in love with Robert Browning and got married to him, much to her father's chagrin, who wouldn't let them get married, but they did so anyway, and then they went to live in Italy. Now, this poem, well, the first thing to talk about in this poem is Hiram Powers' Greek Slave. Well, this is a statue. This is a full-size statue of a naked Greek slave, but this is a woman who has been taken prisoner, taken as a slave by the Turks after the Greek Revolution. I think this is like the 1830s or something like that, and she is this woman has been taken as a slave, and she's standing naked in chains, I think ready to be sold. And this statue is, well, it was very famous at the time. It was given symbolic meaning by the American abolitionists. Let's see, this woman was going to be sold in the eastern slave markets, and this statue was actually on show at the 1851, the Great Exhibition in Hyde Park. Now, interestingly enough, the artist himself was not an abolitionist, and the statue was not intended to be a comment on the slave trade, although the statue was taken up as an emblem, as a symbol of the abolitionists, because this is just before the American Civil War. So this is Elizabeth Barrett Browning's poem about the statue, and there was a large amount of discussion and poetry and prose written about this statue. So they say ideal beauty cannot enter the house of anguish. So they're saying that pain and suffering and ideal beauty are mutually exclusive, that real beauty cannot suffer pain because it stops being beautiful. But this statue is clearly an example of that this is not true, because the statue is of a beautiful young woman who, well, probably most of her family have been killed. She came probably from the one of the Greek islands. Her family have been killed, and she's been taken into slavery, and she's going to be sold. So this is the house of anguish, and this statue represents ideal beauty entering the house of anguish. Notice the capital I for ideal, talking about the personification, and perhaps this statue is the personification of the ideal of beauty. On the threshold stands an alien image with enshackled hands. So on the threshold of the house of anguish, about to enter the house of anguish, there is this image, this statue of this woman with enshackled hands, because in the statue she's has chains on her hands, called the Greek slave, as if the artist meant her. So it's as if the artist has made this statue to indicate ideal beauty entering the house of anguish, or if it's impossible, that passionless perfection which he lent her, shadowed, not darkened, where the sill expands. So she's on the edge, about to go into the house of anguish, but she has passionless perfection. She's beautifully perfect, but she feels no passion. Notice as well, passionless perfection. And also, if you actually look, passionless perfection is an oxymoron, because perfection and passionless, these don't go well together. They're not two things that you would put together normally. But yeah, she is an example of perfection, or her beauty is perfection. But she is there, and maybe this statue was made to confront man's crimes in different lands with man's ideal sense. So maybe this statue has been made as a comment against man's crimes in different lands, with man's ideal sense. So this has been made. Maybe this statue has been made to confront slavery. Hiram Powers said that it was not intended to be a comment on the transatlantic slave trade, and that he wasn't an abolitionist. But this statue has been used for that. So this statue, it's confronting, it's talking about the crimes of man in different lands, the crimes of enslaving people. Pierce to the centre art's fiery finger, and break up ere long the serfdom of this world. So the fiery finger of art is pointing towards slavery. It's pointing towards the problem of slavery. And she's hoping that this statue, as a piece of art, is going to help break up the slavery all over the world. Appeal, fair stone, from God's pure heights of beauty against man's wrong. So, beautiful statue. This is a beautiful statue, and this is the appeal of beauty, or the beauty, talking about the sins of man, the sins of enslaving people. So she hopes that this statue will show people the injustice of slavery. Catch up in thy divine face, not alone east's griefs but west. So yes, this statue is of a Greek woman, and she's going to the eastern slave markets. But catch in your face, show people that slavery in the East and in the West, in the Americas, is bad. Catch the grief, the unhappiness that this causes, and strike and shame the strong, and strike and shame the strong by thunders of white silence overthrown. And she hopes that the beauty of this statue, the beauty of this woman, will strike at slavery, will shame the people who have made money and have made their fortunes from slavery. This includes her own family. By thunders of white silence overthrown. And this statue is white, so it's the thunder of this white statue. And she's praying that it overthrows the institution of slavery. And the statue is standing there white and silent, but the image talks to you. And this is the idea. Notice as well, strike shame, strong thunder, soft silence. Okay, syllabants. So, enough. Hiram Powers, Greek Slave, by Elizabeth Barrett Browning.